Hello and welcome to another episode of the Theatre Professor Vidcast. My name is Terry Danichikimak II, and I'm the Theatre Professor, and you're joining us on our iPad art apps session this week, and we are going to start moving into some of the iPad art apps that will actually take a little longer than 1 week to talk about. Now, there's still a couple that I want to do. Orient Ink is still on my list, so I know there's a couple of people that are really interested in seeing how that works. I've been playing with it. I need to reset my video recording setup so that I can record in vertical setup rather than horizontal. So as soon as I get that done, as soon as I figure out a couple things, Orient Ink is a watercolor app that has a lot of interesting things going on with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually start talking about Sketchbook. And you'll see on my screen I have two. I have Sketchbook and Sketchbook Pro. Now, this is a little confusing, but Sketchbook is actually the same program that is connected to the desktop version of Sketchbook. So I have the desktop version of Sketchbook. It's actually really cheap. It's $25 for a year. So if you haven't already looked at it, take a look at it. There's some really cool stuff that can go on with it. And so I've got that paid version, which allows me to get the Sketchbook version for the iPad, which uses the same account info. So that's the one we're going to talk about because I find that it's got a little more tools than the Sketchbook Pro does. So let's before I jump into that, see, I'm totally wacky this week, and I apologize for that. It's been crazy. We're coming up on Thanksgiving. I even put something up on my Facebook saying, okay, I know I haven't done as much recently as I usually do, but that's because holidays are coming up, and I'm trying to finish up a bunch of stuff with the school that I teach at prior to getting to Thanksgiving because I want to enjoy my Thanksgiving. One of the things I will tell you that is coming up soon is another live webinar. I'm trying to figure out how to set that up because I want the live webinar. I'm actually going to be doing two. There's going to be a members only and then a general public. So if you're not a member of the Theatre Professor website, it's a free subscription over at www.thetheatreprofessor.com. Sign up for the bronze membership. It's free. Then you can join us in the members only webinar. And so it's pretty cool. Well, let's go ahead and jump in. Like I said, this is going to be a multi-week discussion rather than a single week because it's a bigger app. We're going to go ahead and tap on it. And here we are. And this is the app. And you can see it's minimalistic, but what I will tell you is that there is a ton of stuff that you're going to be able to do with it. Okay? I love how the iPad just lights up my face. You light up my life. I'm not a singer. Okay, so let's start with the top menu bar. We'll then do the left menu bar and then look at our layers palette on the right. Okay, the top menu bar. Well, the first one that looks like a little screen with a bullet point list, when you click it, it opens up your general menu. You can create a new sketch. You can go to your gallery. You can share. You can actually upload to DeviantArt. So if you've got a DeviantArt account, Ramalama-ding-dong, you can upload to it. There is a store, preferences, and support. I'm curious. I've never actually been to the store. Oh, interesting. I may have to purchase a couple of these. Oh, look at that. Selection tools. Wait a minute. Oh. I might actually already have all these. Let's go look. Do I have selection tools? I do. So with the Pro version, you get the selection tools and you get everything else. Yay, I'm a winner. See, this is what happens when I don't pay attention to everything I'm doing. So I guess in the free version, you can purchase these separately. But it looks like because I have the Pro tools, I get them all. So that's fabulous. Okay. Let's look at what else we got here. Our preferences. Let's click on that. You can see a lot of the preferences here. Help improve our products. Okay, that's up to you. Tap to hold for color picker. Very similar to Procreate. I like being able to do that. Rotate canvas, of course. Pinched gallery. That's lovely. That means when you pinch it, it'll go to your gallery. Double tap corner shortcuts. Now, this is something cool with this program that is really nice. So if you double tap, for example, the bottom left, you'll get an undo. So let's actually go out. So let me just draw something really quick. Okay, and then if I double tap, I undo. quick note on that. I know you guys can't see my iPad. One of the things I'm working on is a second camera setup so I can video record what I'm doing with my hand as well as what you're seeing on screen. Now, if you want to help out with that, that is a very large expense, and that's used only for this website, really. So I'm looking. I hate to do this, but I'm looking for donations or to become a patron at Patreon. The great thing with becoming a patron is you actually receive things from it. So check that out. That's at www.thetheatreprofessor.com. The Patreon button's off to the right. Click on it, and you can see what you can get with your donation. But that's one of the things that I'd like to be able to do, is to be able to videotape what I'm doing in my hands as well as what you're seeing on the screen there. But again, so if I do a bunch of scribble and I double tap, it disappears, and then I can double tap the bottom right, and it brings it back. The other preferences set for that, top left looks like a clear layer, and then you can frame canvas. And my assumption is if I click, yes, you can change your double taps. You've got a 3-finger tap to toggle full screen. Oh, that's nice. So, oops, that's not what I meant to do. So if I do a 3-finger tap, it goes to full screen, and we go back out. Okay. How do I turn that off? Thank you. Okay, let's see what else we got. Preferences. There we go. 3-finger swipe to menu. So 3-finger swipe. Oh, it's down. 3-finger swipe down. So, quick note on that. You just saw an undo and a redo happen. As you can see here. Oh, so undo is to the left, redo is to the right, color wheel is swipe up, and brush library is swipe down. And of course, you can switch all those if you want. So a lot of shortcuts in here, which is really helpful. Now, understand, I know some people are going, yeah, but how do I remember all those? Tell you what I'll do later tonight, and I'll post tomorrow, I will go ahead and create a cheat sheet, a little PDF document that you can use for this. Rather than having to constantly go into this, you can print it out, a little note card type thing. You can set it off to the side of your desk. Now for me, after a while, you shouldn't need that cheat sheet. It becomes muscle memory. And so, but if you want a cheat sheet, I'm going to go ahead and create one for you. I will get that up tomorrow. I've got some time tonight that I can work on that. Pen connection, you can see the pens that work with it. The Wacom Intuos Creative Stylus is actually the one I'm going to be purchasing next so that I can do a review on it. I don't have it yet. And you can reset your color watches, reset favorite brushes, reset all brush settings, and reset preference settings. Quick note today, if you notice up here, I do have the Hex 3 Jaja, but I left it at school because I was working with our director of our next show. I was doing some sketches and forgot to put it back in my bag. So instead, I'm using this stylus right here. This is the Sensu stylus. It is torn apart. It used to be all black, but I've used it a lot. And the really cool thing about the Sensu stylus is it's got a fat nib on one end. That's fine. But if you take it and you open it, flip it over, you actually have bristles. I'm going to bring in this really close. Let me see if it won't adjust the zoom, unfortunately, but it's got bristles, so it actually feels like painting. Now, it's not pressure sensitive, so you're doing all your pressure sensitivity with your settings, but I like to use this when I'm just feeling artistic rather than trying to do something very specific. And the way it works is those bristles are actually conductive, and so it's cool. It wasn't expensive. It was the first stylus I purchased. I like it for a lot of different reasons. Okay, let's get out of the menu. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. Or out of preferences, and go back to the menu one last time. Our gallery, I'm going to click on it. So here's our gallery. You can see I haven't done much with this. I'm just kind of been playing with it to see what it does. We'll go back into this one. Again, you can share. Who can you share with? Well, you can share with all the usual suspects: Twitter, Facebook, iCloud, Evernote, there's DeviantArt, etc. If you click just on the DeviantArt, it goes straight over to it. Ooh, some nice sketchbook stuff on DeviantArt. Click the back button. And then, so that's all of them. And then, of course, support. If we were to do a new sketch, let's go ahead and click it. This is what you get in regards to your settings. First off, I like to rotate. I'm a landscape guy. I do portraits sometimes, but I like holding my iPad in landscape settings, so I like painting in that. You can adjust your width and height. And And I'm going to guess this is in pixels. Yes. Okay. Oops. Whoa, 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 whoa. Didn't mean to do that. Rotate. There we go. There are some presets, as you can see here. With the current settings, I only have 4 layers, so you have to be aware of that. The higher you go, the less layers you go. Let's see if I can go 3,000. Okay. Oops. Gosh, I hate my keyboard right now. So let's see if I can go 4,000. I can. Let me reduce this. Let's see if I can go 4,000 by 4,000. This would be huge. Nope, you can't. 4,000 by 3,000? Nope. 4,000 by 2,000? Yes. There we go. And now let's see. I get 3 layers there. What about 3,000 by 2,500? Or 4,000 by 2,500? Nope. Too big. 2,400? Nope. 2,200? Nope. 2,100. Okay, so it looks like 2,000 and 4,000. Can I go 5,000? Look, I'm crazy. Nope, can't go 5,000. How about 4,500? Nope. 4,200. 4,100. So it looks like the biggest you can do that's in a rectangular is 4,000 by 2,000, which is a pretty large piece. So I'm going to go ahead and create that. All right, so here it is. So I've created it. One of the things you'll notice, this is not like the natural media art apps. This is just a white sheet. It doesn't have any texture to it. Let's continue along the menu up the top. You have an undo and redo, but if you're using your swipes or your corner taps, you're not really going to use those. The next one is probably one of the most powerful pieces of this program for me because of what it gives us. You'll see that we have selection, we have symmetry, we have styles, we have time-lapse, fill, guides, import image, transform, and text. These are all important if you're doing any type of art, for me at least, because I like being able to do a lot of these things. Let's start with the selection. Before we do the selection, let me just draw something real quick. A bunch of circle, maybe a box over here, and a box over here. Let me grab a different brush. There we go. So we can do a couple different things. There we go. Okay. So let's grab our selection tool. And it opens up here. So you have, first you have your lasso tool. You have your lasso, magic wand, oval, and rectangle. And this is very similar to like Photoshop or any other type of art editing type app that you can do. A rectangle. We'll create a rectangle. Okay. And then what you can do is you can move your rectangle about. Okay. So I've got my rectangle done. When you click checked, look, I can only paint inside that rectangle right now. Okay. You can replace, add, remove. There's so much stuff. And so if I take this, and that, interesting. Okay, sorry. This is me being a big kid playing with things. Okay, so you can select with rectangle, you can select with oval, you can select with lasso, which lasso is really nice. If it'll allow me to switch. Oh, there we go. So now I'm on lasso. And what I like about this lasso is it shows you if you were to stop what you've got already. You see that? So if I stop there, it finishes out my lasso for me. Boom. Okay. And then, of course, you've got your magic wand, which magic wand is always useful. We'll click inside here. And you can see what I've selected, or click inside here. I've selected the inside. Okay. So magic wand is really nice. I think it's useful. One of the things is these don't have any additional settings to them, so you can't adjust your magic wand like you can in Photoshop, or at least not that I can find. Okay. Oh, there it is. Tolerance. Oh, this is brilliant. Okay. So I've clicked rectangle, so oval, lasso, and then magic wand. And if you notice, when I click the magic wand, this tolerance is added. Okay? So now you can adjust your tolerance, and it'll get it either closer or farther away to the actual edges. Tolerance being like pixels. Okay? So it's not going to show as much in here because I don't have any pencil-y work. But what it will show is if I were to do a bunch of pencil or charcoal, it would show how close I'm getting to the line. Oh, okay, there we go. That's what I was looking for. So if we go, I'm just going to check out of that. So many settings. This program is going to be much bigger than I thought it was going to be. Okay, let's go back into our selection tool. And I want to select, I'm going to go ahead and switch to circle because I want to select some stuff. Oops. Let me move that circle. A little bit of lag in here, but that's fine. Okay, so I've moved my circle. Now, if you click all the way to the right, see what's highlighted there? It's the little mountains with the up and down arrow. If you click that, I can move around my selection and then click check. So we'll do that again, just so that you're fully understanding that. I'm going to pick a selection, and I'm going to change to rectangle. And I'm going to select this area right here. Okay, see that selection? If I then select the mountain, I can then move that selection very, very cleanly. I can flip that selection both ways. I can rotate the selection. And then once I'm finished, I'll put the selection back. And I click check. And then it's done. And then I could, if I really wanted to, do a double tap, and I can do that, and I'm back to where I was. Okay? So the selection tool, let me go ahead and clear this layer. The selection tool here is extremely powerful. I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to draw something. I'm going to draw a very crude house. And let's say that I wanted to select the roof. And I'm going to use the lasso tool because I want to raise the roof. Now notice in this down corner right here, I didn't get all of the roof. So one of the things you can do is you can add to it by clicking this button. And let's add to the roof, keeping on. And then I do this. And it added to the roof. Okay? And I want that right there added to the roof. Okay? So we'll zoom back out. Now we want to raise the roof. So I'm going to click my mountains with the four corners. I'm going to take it straight up to there. I'm going to click check. And then I'm going to grab and finish out. Look at that. I just made my roof bigger. Okay, so you can see how powerful this selection tool is going to be. Okay, let's clear the layer. I like to clear it. And let's look at symmetry. Well, let me make sure we've done everything with selection. Oh, okay, one other thing that we want to do. Oh, I don't want to select anything. Maybe I do. This is invert selection. This one right here, the one in between our move selection and move selection with image, is our invert. So if I click it, we select the inside. If I click it again, we select outside. Okay, and then of course this one again moves the selection without moving the picture underneath. So I could set this here, and I could click invert. Now I'm selecting there. And then this one, of course, is replace, add, and remove. Okay, so if we wanted to remove a piece, let's move it. Well, maybe not. I have remove, right? Yep. Okay, and I'm on lasso. And And let's add then. Will you let me add? Of course not. Let me do this. It does not like me right now. So there we go. We've run into a problem already where it won't let me add or remove things. Oh, there. So it won't let me add or remove with the lasso tool, which is unfortunate. Oh, now it will. I just had to reset it, essentially. There we go. So this is removing pieces from it. Oh, that's adding. To remove, we switch to remove. And now we're removing pieces from it. Okay. All right. So that is the selection tool. I could go much further into it, but I've already talked about it ad nauseum. So we're going to clear out of this. We need to clear the selection by hitting the X. See how that clears it? Now this is a pretty big file, so I am lagging a little bit when I adjust things, so I apologize for that. Ooh, oh, that's... I hit the button too many times. Okay, let's look at symmetry. We're going to do symmetry is on right now for horizontal. So if I draw on the top, let's make a smaller file so that we're not getting... Let's do my presets. We'll just do like that. Create. There we go. Because I don't want you guys to deal with that lag. It gets really obnoxious. Okay, let's grab a symmetry again. So now you can see you create symmetry that way. You can create symmetry this way. You can create symmetry in four... Oops. Interesting. Oh. Okay, so the third setting, if it's like this, when you cross, it crosses as well. When it's in this setting, when you cross, boom, it stops it. Interesting. The things you learn when you're playing with it. So I can't go any farther than the line, which is kind of nice if you're doing something very specific. And then, of course, you can always turn off the symmetry. And to keep your symmetry, you have to... there we go. And so we can see I'm creating some sort of lots of angled lines that run into each other. So symmetry is kind of fun. You've got... Oops. There we go. Oh, and you can turn off the view of the symmetry. So if I turn it on, you see it. Turn it off, you don't. Okay. Let's clear this layer. So we've talked about, so far we've talked about selection. We've talked about symmetry. Styles is essentially a line. Yep, you can create nice straight lines. This is one of the tools I really love in some of these applications. You can, of course, create a circle or oval, more specifically. And you can create squares and rectangles. Okay. What's nice about this is that if you're doing things that require very, like for me, sometimes I'm doing scene designs where I need very straight lines. I love the artistry of using programs like ArtRage and Procreate, but sometimes I just want straight lines. And so the styles there allow that. You've got straight lines, makes it really nice, really enjoyable. Time-lapse allows you to record what you're doing. I'm not going to turn that on. Fill is exactly that. You can pick fill. You can fill it as a hard fill. You can fill it as a gradient. Let's see. Let's change it. Can I change the color of the gradient? I should be able to. So there's our gradient going right there. Let's do this gradient. Well, I don't know why it's in a line. That's weird. What is this? Oh, tolerance. Okay, let's clear this. Let's start this over. I'm going to clear the layer. Let's go into gradient. Oh, let's go into fill. We'll grab a gradient. And you spread your gradient out. Like so. Now, the one thing I'm finding is that it's continuously going black and white gradient. There's got to be a way, right? There's got to be a way for it to be colorful. And I don't... Let me clear this. I'm having fun with gradients. One of the things you can do with gradients, which we won't do today, is you can always... Okay, so there's our circle gradient. And my assumption, it doesn't seem like there's a way to invert the gradient. Oh, okay, let me try something. So I'm going to change my color. Nice red, right? And we'll just go ahead and do a fill. Okay, and then out of curiosity, if I come over here and do a gradient, and I turn this into an overlay. Nope. Soft glow. There we go. Or lighten. Or screen. You can create... Oh, there we go. You can create a nice overlay that way. But obviously that's taking up 2 layers, which can be a little obnoxious. But it does create a beautiful gradient. So essentially there, what you're going to need to do is, I'm going to merge it down. Yeah, and then you can merge it down, and then you have your gradient up at C, and there we go. It just, So here's one of the problems with gradients. I don't know why it keeps going to black and white. I'm going to have to play with it. See, this is a program that I don't know as much about, so you and I are learning together. I like that, right? So I am definitely not an expert in this one, but you know what I'm going to do is over the next couple weeks, I'm going to become an expert in it. Okay, so that's gradients. I'm gonna do a little research, see if I can't get the gradients to work more like we want it to work. And here is what I'm kind of enjoying a lot. Oops. Our guides. Let me grab a darker pen. See, what the guide does allows me to create lots of lines. I could leave one point solid. And actually I can go past it. I can go parallel to it. See, they're all straight lines. I don't have to go directly on it. But it's always going to follow the same direction that the guide is. So if you're creating grids of any sort, this is a fun little way. Or if you're doing a building where all the windows are the same. Look at that. And then there's also a circular one. Let me clear the layer so you can see. Again, this is under guides. There is also a circular version. Okay. Now the only thing that I wish I could do is make it an oval, but apparently circle is all I can do. Hell bugger. Okay, let's click check mark there. So that's guides. You have the ability to import an image, which we're not going to do right now. You can put text, which a lot of the programs like Procreate and ArtRage do not have a ton of text abilities. And then you do have the ability to transform the entire image. Which is nice. Oh, I don't want that. Okay. So what we've gone through today, we're just starting the beginnings of this. There is a ton more to go through. I'm more knowledgeable about the pen stuff. Some of these new tools up top, I just haven't played with enough. So you'll have to forgive my lack of knowledge, but I will find out for you some of the things that I want to look at. Specifically, the fill, the gradients aren't working exactly how I had hoped they would. And I want to play a little more with the guides, because those are actually a ton of fun, so that we can see exactly what we can do. This is Sketchbook, and this is the version that you can download if you have the paid for version for the desktop. So if you go into your App Store, I know I don't usually go through this part, but if you go in your App Store and you do a search for Sketchbook, what you'll come up with, it's going to be a couple different things. Sketchbook Express for iPad, I believe, is a free product. It's one that I don't obviously have on mine anymore. And then Autodesk Sketchbook is the one that we're looking at. You've got Sketchbook Ink, which we're not using yet. I'm actually looking and getting that, and that's going to be something I'm going to do in the future. It's more of an inking program. And now that I'm looking here, it doesn't look like Sketchbook Pro is downloadable anymore. It is not. Okay, so apparently I still have it only because I bought it before they switched over to the Autodesk Sketchbook version. Okay, so that's good to know. So you won't need to really worry about the Sketchbook Pro. All you're doing is going to worry about the Sketchbook. Okay, so go ahead, download it, start to play with it, and we will move forward in regards to it. I'm going to try and answer some of the questions that I missed or don't fully understand, and we will move into hopefully the pen tools, the pen, the pencil, and all the other tools that they have over here. You can see there's a whole bunch of them as I pull them up and look that we get to play with. So we're going to play with all those come next week, and like I said, this is going to be a couple weeks long, so I hope you enjoy it.